Debunking magic in the real world has a long-standing history. In the land of Oz, I have to think, going to war against magic is kind of like going to war against guns in this world. Not very smart. Welcome to the heart of the stories we tell. My name is Rob, and tonight I will be reviewing Emerald City, Episode 6, Beautiful Wickedness. And once again, we're back into the whole good witch and bad witch scenario. And we're back into the idea of the witches can't be trusted, but the witches wield the most powerful magic in the land, and as such are needed. I'm still pulling for Dorothy to be the beast that came from the sky, but we start off with an origin of sorts. Not even in Oz, but in the real world, and how Dorothy's mother and the wizard are connected, although there's more to it once we get into spoilers. We also have a whole great deal of information going on about Lucas and his memories and what it would take to block those memories and what it would take to reveal those memories. And as I said last week, memories are really who we are. We are a product of our memories, we are a product of who and what we were and what we are. So now, having said that, let's just take one last look at something else that someone brought up. Dark Side of the Moon. Specifically, the Pink Floyd way of playing music to the correct beat and tempo of Wizard of Oz to tell a whole different story. It's an interesting idea, and one I've never actually done, although I think I have a DVD a friend of mine made of it around here somewhere. And that's why I didn't catch what that music was last week. So, thank you, and yet another no prize goes up. And then let's throw this up there and get started. So once again, it's stop. Spoiler time. So I had to think long and hard about this. But Lady Eve and Jack and Tit are definitely the ones that I want to start with. The fact that the Tin Man's heart isn't just missing, but is broken in two. And the fact that the person that he really wanted to begin with and the person who he kind of wants now are not exactly on the best of terms with each other. And the fact that Lady Eve is totally screwing over the wizard is kind of cool. And I like the entire dynamic going on. In fact, tonight's whole episode was interpersonal connections and how they were made. From Emin being there because he was spared, to Dorothy being there because she was born here, to the Witch of the East, who just died because she needed to keep a secret, and Glenda and West going at each other. Because at the end of the day, the idea of there being more witches terrifies everyone. So what exactly does it mean for there to be more witches? Well, it means that there's going to be a war. And that war is coming sooner than they'd think, and sooner than they'd like. And that war is going to probably end up having Cardinal Witch versus Cardinal Witch, because I don't think that Glenda and West can work together. And I'm still not entirely sure what's going on with Dorothy and those ruby gauntlets. And of course the wizard and his understanding of technology, because let's talk about the wizard for a second here too. And the fact that he wasn't just someone from our world, he wasn't some weirdo. He was a tech guy, and tech guys are pretty scary. The MacGyver of Oz. Now, I'm not too worried about him being able to reproduce a 9mm handgun exactly as is. But the base concept, the concept of the gun alone, points them in the right direction. The type of formulation for the gunpowder, what he said out loud was kind of amateurish, more like what we had in the Revolutionary War. But even still, that's all you need. Because when it comes right down to it, he was abso-friggin-lutely right about one thing. If there's one thing that's really good and killing people, it's handguns. And even if he can at best make out a bunch of muskets, imagine a bunch of knights in armor trying to ride up and hassle a town if the town can just make up a line of soldiers and shoot at them with guns, even if they don't pierce as hard as Dorothy's does. Of course, I also have to wonder how desperate the wizard is to trust Lady Eve with that sort of technological advantage. This leads me to a two-part question. First, if you were thrown into a fantasy land, do you think that you understand enough science to be able to do something with it? Do you think you understand enough about how a gun works? In reality, a lot of these things are problematic. At the end of the day, we don't have one set of technology, we have technology built on top of technology. Do you have the machine press? Do you have the tooling? I don't know if I could. I'd sure give it a try with what little I knew, at least make some explosives. And the second part, the wizard gave Dorothy an option. Go assassinate someone and I'll send you home. Could you do it? Could you trade someone's life for yours? At the end of the day, that's what a lot of this episode is about. The moral choices we make, the good and the evil, all of us have to decide on. And each moment is in and of itself a challenge. Between the choices Dorothy has to make now, between the choices the wizard did make then, between the choices Lucas, aka the Scarecrow, made and left him in this predicament, and even what Dorothy would do for Lucas, or what a friendly neighborhood police dog would do for Dorothy. What the wizard has to do now, what the witches are planning, and of course the most important question of all, are you a good witch or a bad witch? Or does it even matter? Well, either way, this was an interesting episode and one that I'm still having fun with. I still hold to the fact that this isn't exactly a reimagining. I'm thinking that parts of this were cobbled together when someone had a fantasy story going of their own. But let me know what you think down in the comments section below. And then as always, this is the part of the video where I need to ask you to like and share this video and subscribe so that you can join me back here next time when we explore Emerald City and all the other stories as we walk through the heart of the stories we tell. Thanks for watching.